This is the Red Arrow Show with me, Josh Averton, Andy Simcox, Alan Smith, and Craig Wood. The usual four are back in force. So today we're going to discuss the press conference. The first time we've been able to discuss a press conference, because normally we do it on a Thursday and we record Wednesdays, which is very nice of them to pull it forward, especially for us. So we talk about Donovan Pines and Conor Grant getting 60 minutes in the 21s, and then any fallout from the press conference. We're going to speak about that Athletic article as well, which dropped yesterday, and just have a light discussion around that, and then we'll round it off with Leyton Orient preview. Let's get into it. So, as our resident under 21s correspondent, Al, Pines and Conor Grant, 60 minutes yesterday in the tank for him. Did you go to it? I feel like you will have done.
I was definitely there. Yeah, it was a good game, to be honest. We went it lead by Josiah Dyer. A good header goal from a corner. Notts County equalised with a penalty, and then in second half we got a penalty and won the game 2-1. Aaron Atkinson scored from the spot. Pines looked solid. What a unit, really, what a unit. And if you see what I put, he didn't have a number on his back, so I put red all over it back and posted. We've got to get I sponsored him, not paid for it, but just sponsored him for a day. And solid, rec game well. He made one mistake. Their striker were going through in the penalty area and he recovered well and got a tackling and won't ball. To be honest, if he'd have missed it, he'd probably got sent off. But no, he was a wreck game and boisterous as well. Quite good in the back three. And then other lad who we've got from, where is he now? From
MK Dons, Conor Grant.
MK Dons. He had a decent game as well. Put a good shift in. So,
what sort of player is he, Alex? We only saw him for a short while, didn't we? Conor Grant, I'm talking about now.
Conor Grant, he gets forward. He does track him back as well, and it's quite, I don't think he meant many poor passes and fetched other players into it. So that were good to see. And as I said, the Hull City game, which should have been played in the league, was cancelled. So they had to get a quick game organised, a friendly against Notts County. So
where did Pines play? Did he play central? At 3?
Central, in middle at 3.
Yeah, that's where we want
him. Interesting. Good to hear though that obviously, Craig, when you have got them first team players playing in 21s games, it's almost you want them to be head and shoulders above the youth players, not in a disingenuous or disrespectful way to the younger players, but there's someone that's further on in their career, and you just expect them to sit that little bit higher with just because of their knowledge and experience.
Yeah, they need to stand out. Like they've got to, because they are better players in terms of career progression, and they're that much further on than rest of team should be. So I think it's a smart decision from Collins. He's not played for DC United for a number of months. But he must have been keeping himself fit, because obviously he's been looking for a move, especially to Europe. So we've had him in for a couple of weeks now. We got his what do you call it? His visa sorted out. Yeah, he got that about a week and a half ago. So a week in gym, get him out in under 21s, and look, if he looks ready, he looks ready. I don't expect him to start, but I definitely want to see some of him, especially with it being at home. It'll get fans something to look forward to, and obviously give him a loud cheer when he does come on.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, and it almost puts us. We've gone from having sort of a lack of central defenders with Jordan Williams playing most of the season at right centre back to now the part of McCart coming back as well. We've got potentially 4 solid first team choice centre halves to choose from for Saturday's game with McCart coming back.
Yeah, for me, we're all getting a little bit daft. At the start of the season, like we did a few years ago, we only signed central midfield players. At the start of this season, in the summer, we seem to sign centre halves. We seem to have a glut of centre halves. Then all of a sudden, we've got 2 that are injured. Robbie Cundy's still injured, and we got Conor McCarthy who were injured. So to bring others in, We brought in Jack Shepherd, and then he weren't been playing. We brought in Lapata, and he played a few games, and then he were injured. So we got McCartin. So we seem to have loads of them. Then we brought Mile in, MDG, Dejevany. We brought him in, and
Number 6.
So we seem to have loads of them. We seem to have loads of them. Then all of a sudden, we're playing Jordan Williams, presumably for his pace, because he's certainly not for his height. We're playing Jordan Williams there throughout the season. I'm thinking, well, why is Conor McCarthy not getting a game? Maybe we don't think he's good enough, as a club or the coach. I don't know. Why ain't Shepherd playing? Well, we've seen Shepherd play, and he can play well, and we know he's one for the future, but he's still prone to a few mistakes, as you would expect at such inexperience. So he's gone out on loan, and that's good. Not sure what's happening with Lapata going out on loan, because that seemed a bit unusual for me since he started the season pretty well, I thought. Whether we don't think he's quick enough or ready because he's not played much, I don't know. So he's gone out on loan as well to Port Vale. So all of a sudden, I haven't got anybody. McCart's injured or was injured, so thinking, I don't know, we had thousands of them, and all of a sudden we got a couple. Where if one more gets injured, we ain't got anybody. So we brought Earl in so that we had got somebody. So we're all getting a bit daft. Pine's coming ever closer, and I think he needs to get ever closer for our benefit as well as his own. So with him and with Mal and with both Earl, who had a stunning debut, I thought, last weekend against the top side, a stunning debut, and McCart there as well. It's not looking bad. And of course, Jordan Williams, if need be, Brad Soonering be somewhere else. But so we went from loads to hardly any, and back to a good number again now. So hopefully, our defensive frailties and problems in the process.
And on that note, lads. On that note, I was talking to Doug Kane yesterday afternoon. Asked him about Robbie Cundy. It don't look as though he's going to get back with us. It looks as though it's a worse injury than we first thought, and I don't think he'll get back on pitch. Whether it's this season or probably next, I don't know. It's not looking good for Robbie Cundy. And I spoke with Jello yesterday. I says, because Doug had said he's out all up for the season. And Jello says, no, it's not as bad as that. She'll be back in 5 to 6 weeks.
We need to give him a mic and a camera, you know what I mean? So can you
get we do.
All over the place.
I think we should
you've got to ask the proper questions, haven't you?
And just send him out with his phone, like when he was in Itching, not Hitchin, when Al was down in Itching, and the game got called off.
When you go out, do you have a press pass? Like a made-up one, a pretend press pass that you put on so people think that you're front press and so talk to you. I don't know.
Even the gaffer says thank you for spending the afternoon with my wife. There, what can you say? Cheers.
Hey, you don't need to be going into that now.
Hey,
leave it.
Calm it down.
I tell you, I say it every week. He gets with a what account.
He does. To be fair, I'm hoping we've all seen that Al's become a bit of a viral sensation on Twitter for his wow post. I have seen that's gone a bit viral.
My own meme, lads. My own meme.
Yeah, it's becoming his own meme, a TV star, and that's what happened in the past week.
And my own town T-shirt. Don't forget the T-shirt.
Oh yeah,
his Al shirt.
He's got his own merchandise. It's been some week for you, Al, hasn't it?
He's the brand new Dickie Bird, isn't he?
Hey,
we're getting a statue outside. Well.
Don't know about the bird bit.
Right. So we're going to move on and speak about the article that was released yesterday by The Athletic. If you've not seen it, it is online, and go and read it. But it's a bit of a weird one, I think, in terms of there's no actual direct quotes from anyone within it, and it's almost a basis of hearsay of what has occurred and gone on. With, I think, both parties have declined to comment in terms of the former club secretary and also the club. So, Andy, it's
thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're the one. You're the one that's next to me.
I'm Alan. He's Andy with blue shirt on. Don't get confused, Josh.
obviously, because it is a bit of a sensitive subject as well, in which it does concern the topic and things like that. It's not really something that should necessarily have made its way into the public domain, I don't think, personally.
No, don't worry, Josh. Sensitivity is my middle name. I thought it was John, but apparently it's sensitivity. We'll see. It is a very sensitive thing, and we've got to be really careful. Everybody's got to be really careful, because there's people who are involved in this. You've got Eleanor Dobson on one side, who's no longer with the club, and you've got Jean Crine. Although some people seem to think it was Julianne to start with, it was Jean Crine. We've got to be careful about it. There's real people here that are not commenting on it. And the article, I've read the article a number of times, and for me, there's lots of suppositions and all sorts. Including things like, well, Jean apparently has apologised. Well, there's all sorts of apologies. You can say you're sorry for what you've said, and you can say you're sorry for what you've done, and that's like a proper, full, honest apology. You can also say, when you're talking to somebody else, that you're sorry that you've hurt their feelings. You're sorry that they've been upset by it, and you're sorry the way you worded it because you didn't want to cause any upset. So that's not apologising for what's been said, what you've said, but it's apologising maybe for how you've said it, or an acknowledgement that someone's feelings have been hurt and that somebody's got upset about it. So we have to be careful what an apology is. And since we don't know from anybody, from either Ellie or from Jean, what it constitutes, and to be honest, rightly so, it's a private matter. Because there's a lot of people. We've got to be really careful about making a judgment on this. I think, like I say, it's a sensitive thing. So I do think there's a number of people that are very quickly jumping on bandwagons for their own narrative. So there's people who are sticking up for some people, there's people sticking up for others. Some people are taking it as fact, not supposition, not allegations, not rumours, all that. So nobody really knows. The only people that really know aren't saying anything. Now, I don't know how this has all come out. There's stuff about it's being talked about around the club and all that. Nobody really knows. So I think this article, for me, the article should have got a lot more information, a lot more factual information to allow people to say what they think, rather than jumping on bandwagons. Things like, we need a protest, get out of our club. And that's just what I just think. We're so quick to make the facts or make rumours fit our narrative. And I don't know what was said to start with. I don't know what's been said since. I don't know. And there's nothing in the article that lets me know exactly what's been said. So I'm very, very low. Well, I'm not just very low. I'm not going to make any judgment one way or the other because I don't know. And I think if you want to be balanced and fair to everybody concerned, I think a number of people need to take a step back from this. That's my personal view. Whether people agree with it or not, it's a different matter, but that's my view.
Mr. Sensitivity there.
Me all over.
Nailed it. Al, also within that is almost like a slight little bit more information about the Aidan Marsh and FA Cup stuff within there about certain people knowing and find that once he went to York and then it would make him ineligible for the FA Cup. There's no clear answer as to why Aidan Marsh did get selected post that correspondence, apparently. But it is one of those things that is a little bit annoying in terms of the people who should know apparently did know that if Marsh did go to York during that time, it wouldn't be available for the FA Cup game, and then still got played, which it's just, I think for me, that just, it makes me ask even more questions as to how it was even allowed to happen again.
Correct, Josh. It were a big error, wasn't it? I mean, they should have known that. It's grassroots level at any football club. You've got to get your paperwork right, and you've got to understand the laws and the regulations of the tournaments that you're playing in. So that is a big boo-boo by whoever it was. But going back to what you were saying with Andy and that, for me, the Athletic, I think it's just paper trying to create some drama because there's nothing in there, to be honest, apart from club secretary and Jean that we didn't know probably, and probably what as ex strikers put out there about losing Norwood, about losing something in fire. And from an HR point of view, when I'm working, that information should have been kept in house. It shouldn't be out in the public domain. The confidential element has been breached, and that is wrong. That is totally wrong.
We don't know who by, Alan. We don't know who by.
Correct, and that's the worry. Who's leaked this? It should be between the two parties. It should be HR inside club. It should be all parties to sort this out in house. It shouldn't be dirty washing put out on washing line for everybody else to see. And that's my opinion.
No, I think it's a very valid and good point that it shouldn't be out there for sort of, as you've said there, Al. It shouldn't be there for us to see.
Though, Josh. It's a thin line between somebody breaching confidentiality and somebody whistleblowing. It don't feel like it's whistleblowing to me. So I'm with Alan on that. The only thing I would say about the Aidan Marsh thing, I know Craig wants to say about the Aidan Marsh thing. I didn't know. I knew that if he'd gone to York on loan, I knew that if my belief is if he played for York in the FA Cup, he was cup tied. He didn't play, so then he came back. I personally didn't know that the fact that he were registered them during the the time of the original match, that meant he was ineligible. It would obviously mean he were eligible had he played, but I didn't know that because he was registered on loan there during that time that made the difference. I didn't know that. Apparently the club had been told that Andrew, and I can't remember his second name, I'm sorry, Andrew Bowley or something like that, Bowley had told them about an hour before kickoff. So that that were a major mistake, as Al said. But I'm not sure that it were a big error and people should have known. But I have to be truthful and say I didn't know.
Costly, Randy. Costly.
Yeah, absolutely costly.
It's almost a bit of a freak scenario though, in a way, because like you said, like he didn't play, but it was just registered. Whereas, like it's a lot more clear if he had a starter for York, or he obviously can't play, which is a little bit weird. Craig, Al there made a very good point of barring what happened between club secretary and Jean. There's nothing new there that we didn't know as fans anyway. Like obviously we knew about the FA Cup stuff. And I think the way in which the Athletic wrote it, for me personally, it was making out as though all of this was brand new information that no one knew, even though it's stuff that literally happened a few months ago, was the majority of it. Do you think that's necessarily something that's going to affect us on this running and things, with things like that sort of distracting players and moving them away from sort of the central focus of football?
It could do. It could very much. As soon as I read it, and I was thinking this is really not good because it means that there's somebody leaking information who's at the club or who was at the club.
It'll be Smithy.
I'm completely with Al. This stuff should not reach the public domain. It shouldn't be out on Twitter. And there's a lot of people on Twitter. I mean, I had a massive rant last video about what I think about people on Twitter, and it just got compounded this week because some of them are going from. I've heard people saying that Gene's been sexist. I mean, saying somebody's wearing inappropriate clothing is not sexist. There's all sorts of agendas, protests. I mean, this is an article by a journalist. Now, think back to what journalism is. It's not facts. It's not fact finding. It's not a court of law. It's not, it's just people. Somebody's told a journalist something and they've written it onto a PC and sent it out to the internet. There's no facts in it. There's no proof in it. I mean, neither party's talking, so nobody can say whether it's true or not. So people just need to calm down and slow the roll and stick their agenda to one side and think about this because it is real people. It's Jean crying who, I mean, we were singing her name not so long back because she was coming back on board. And her husband who we supported for years, but yet one article comes out and now everybody's, I mean, an amount of people tweeting at Julianne, she's got nothing to do with this. It's It really is.
As far as we know, tell us, Julian. If you have, tell us.
Some
As far
people
as we
what
know,
makes- Craig, lads, what makes me laugh is the happy clapper tags come back out, and it.
That's it. And it's like, just support the team on the pitch, right? And just keep all your nonsense and what you think at board, just stick it away. Because at the end of the day, there's much worse owners than we've got, right? You name one club that's got no issues, none at all. There won't be one. Every club, every business out there has issues, whether it's HR related, whether it's financially, no matter what it is. But for some reason, everything comes out at Barnsley FC, so these Twitter guys can go around and have a bat to swing at the club whenever they want. And that's exactly what's happened. You know, somebody's gone to a journalist, said, "Oh, I've got an inside scoop on something that happened at Barnsley." You know, the author's done no fact finding, no checking if any of this is legit. You know, he's obviously asked both parties. They both said, "No, I don't want to talk about it," and he's gone, "But I'll still write it." You know, it sounds good, sounds juicy. You know, you click on page, you scroll once down, and it's like, "Oh, sign up for a month for $1.99." You know, it's all about that. That's all it is. Stop falling into the trap of believing that journalism is facts, because it's not.
there's
And
two
Craig,
people that could be very upset
top
about
trump.
this.
Lads, it
I'm going
top
to switch my
trump.
phone off.
It top trumps us, 5th position, only lost one away from home, and this takes precedent over what's happening on field
Yeah.
of play.
Yeah.
Why?
That's
Just
it.
why?
If anything, it's just causing issues. I mean, Barry Cotter's. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, the players are backing up Ellie's story." No, they're not. No one would come out and said something about something on a bus that was set on fire, and then Barry Cotter said that she helped him settle in. Nobody said nothing about corroborating any story. I mean, read it. It's just daft, man.
I think Barry were probably
It
a
must
bit
be
ill
just a bunch of
advised.
teenagers. It's got to be, because they can't be this stupid.
Barry were probably a bit ill advised at this moment, knowing the toxicity that's. But he
I
didn't
am
say
more
anything.
annoyed.
He
with him,
didn't
to
say
be
he didn't
fair.
say anything that offended me. He was just saying she helped. You know, when she was there, she helped him no end and helped him settle, helped him sort things out. And for that, it's a it were a nice thing for him to say. So she's not been painted as anything other than a very pleasant and helpful person. So I've got no great worries about what Barry said, but maybe not the best time to have said it.
Yeah, just end of the day, just keep at it. You know, just let it lie. You know, nobody
Like we're
needs to
doing.
comment.
Well, to swiftly move us on from that, then, and to let it lie and move on, we come up against Leyton Orient on Saturday at Oakwell, who are at the minute the most informed side in the league. So, looking at a stats pack, manager Richie Wellens, who we think is coming back from a touchline ban of 3 games, top scorer Raul Satori. That's definitely pronounced incorrect, but we'll go with it. Key player, Ford, 9th in the league, 4 wins, 1 draw in their last 5, and formation 4-2-3-1. So, Andy, a bit of a tricky side to come up against.
No, Ralph, I've looked over the last 8 league matches, and in total, they've won 6, drawn 2 in the last 8 matches away from home. Because sometimes people can have a great home form and the away form be a bit bitty, or the other way around in some people's cases. But away from home, they've won out of the last 8. They've won 4, drawn 3, and lost 1. So that's some going. Like you said, top of the form league overall, 4th in the form league, both above us. For away matches, so it's some form that, and they've got. I'm going to be interested. Apart from hotels, obviously, I want us to win, but I'm also going to be interested. I don't know how accurate this was. I don't know where this was reported, but this might not be accurate. We were linked with that Idris what was his name, Mizuni, and he plays. Obviously, he plays for them. He scored last night, so I'd be interested. I think it's his only league game, only league goal, I think. So I'd be interested to see what he's like. If we indeed we were linked with him, I don't know, who knows, again, it's speculation. But I'd be interested to see what he's like, just based on rumours. And of course, we've got our old friend that I've always liked, apart from a real lazy sod, George Moncur. I think a truly talented footballer that seems to waste his talent through, I don't know if it's through idleness or lack of fitness, which is,
Bone idle.
all that. And it's such a shame because a succession of managers everywhere, until maybe now, have not played a good more matches for Leyton Orient than he has recently. And I always thought that was a shame. So always rated him. Thought as a player, a really skillful player that could make things happen. Just poor application in that respect. No, that'll be interesting to see if, presuming George plays, and he played last night, presuming George plays just behind the striker, it'll be an interesting thing. I hope he has a game against us, but we'll see.
It'd be nice. Al, obviously with Leyton Orient hitting that form, a 3-0 win against Portsmouth, a 1-0 win against Bolton in the last 6 games as well. It's not like they've just turned up this form against the sides in the lower half of the league. They're also picking up results against the top half, and with that Portsmouth result blowing them away as well.
They've hit form at the right time, aren't they? Going into the new year. We were there on, I think it was 21st of October, when they got a dubious penalty, to be honest. It was a very dubious penalty. And then Herbie Kane pulled it back in second half on 69 minutes. And then in additional time, because he got sent off, didn't he? Got red card. So we did well to come away from there, I think, with a point.
Cosy, you are mates with players, aren't you?
Cosy.
Cosy got sent off.
There you go, then. Well, you've got to show it, don't you? It saves time.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
and yeah, they'll be up for it. Form team. I think Craig put. I think form table. They're just behind us, aren't they? We're up there at top at form table, both of us. So it's going to be a crack.
The top at form table overall, Al. How about last 8 matches?
Thank you very much for putting me straight, Mrs.
No, but you're right. The fourth in away, but there are a lot of teams have been really well away from home this season, and they're one of them.
So are we.
But we're at home. Can't we play them at their ground again?
I put it this way: what happened on the last home game? Don't worry, we're not going to lose it because I'm not in a box.
Oh, that's good to know.
I'm back in Ponty.
I tell you what, I always, as a player, I always rated Richie Wellens. Thought he was a decent central midfield player that made things happen and shored things up and showed a lot of experience. I felt for him when he took over as manager or coach, whichever it was at Donny Rovers, because that were a kick into nothing. So in that respect, apart from this Saturday, I'm pleased for him that he's there, that he's got another club and that they're doing well, because they're not the biggest, the biggest club around. They used to be years ago, but they're not the biggest club around now. And he's pulling them up. You can't say anything about their record, like I said, of the last number of matches. So I'm pleased for him and pleased for them, because I think they're a tidy football side. I just hope that they have a real off day on Saturday and then come back strong, hopefully against our rivals again. But please don't do it against us.
I think he's had since sort of Donny, he's had a fairly good career so far. So he was fairly successful at Salford and sort of very unfortunately lost his job more than anything else, have been poor. So yeah, I think he's definitely one of those good young managers, sort of the same mold as a certain Michael Duff.
Well, you'll like him because he got his 3-match ban and he's fined against Bolton for housery, stopping late on in games, stopping their player. Craig knows more, but stopping player taking a throw, Bolton player taking a throw in. I'd love to see him and Ian Everett together after that incident. That'd have been TV gold.
I'd be campaigning for a statue if he did that for us.
Be worth attendance, be worth, price at ticket just for that.
Exactly. Craig, obviously, as I mentioned, Leyton Orient in great form so far, but it's one of those games where we need to keep churning out these points if we want to try and go and impact that top 2.
Yeah. Well, I like to stretch the form table to 12 games because then we're second and they're fourth. They've lost 2 and we've only lost 1, so we look better in form table if you stretch it back 12. But if you
We
stretch
look
it by the
better if
whole
we stretch it
season, we're a
all
lot
season.
better. But that's it. Yeah, that's it. He's really flipped the switch, and he changed formation to a 4-2-3-1. Not so long back, they lost the first two in that formation, and then they've just like I think they've only lost one since, and then obviously they're doing really well. I watched them play Port Vale other day. I didn't want to fancy watching Wednesday get panned, so I decided to watch Leyton Orient against Port Vale. And to be fair, they were a good side and they completely dominated the game from start to finish. But I've just been looking at their key players, and they're all well. I think out of the five I've mentioned to myself, three of them are in on loan, so they've really done well in the transfer market. They've obviously got El Mazzoni in from Ipswich on loan, Ford from Watford on loan. He's rapid. He's big, strong, and he's rapid. Him. So if he gets past our defence, we're in a lot of trouble. And also their goalkeeper is one of the only goalkeepers in the league to have a better save record than Roberts. So it's Solomon Bryn who was in net, and he's also on loan from Middlesbrough. So, I think Middlesbrough's got a bit in a goalkeeper glut going at the minute. They've got some very good goalkeepers, but from what
Sounds
I
like they should give one away this summer
yeah, that's it.
for
Yeah,
free.
that's it. That will give for free. But yeah, when I was looking through stats of the previous matches, I like to have a look at how many shots on target they have per game, sort of thing, because I like to see what we can expect to see when they come up here. And they have a lot of shots, but mainly they have a lot of shots from the edge of the area. They like to shoot from range, which you don't tend to see these days. So watch out for that, especially how we drop into a defensive shape. We kind of let them have the ball on the edge of the area, so that could be something we need to be looking at, maybe stepping up a little bit more and not allowing them chance to do that. Also, they like the through balls, whether it's over the top or whether it's through middle. They like to make the diagonal runs from the wings inwards. And I think their key player is El Mazzoni. He's really performing for them. But just to watch, I forgot his name. What is it? It's their left winger, Theo Archibald. Is their top assister, and he's the one that it comes in and crosses in from the byline. So we'll have to watch that as well. But they're a really good team, and in this formation, the press pretty high. But I think we're probably hopefully going to be a bit better at passing it out than Port Vale were the other night. So,
I mean, the only thing I'd add is that their goal difference is 0. They've scored. Was it the 30 matches? I think is it 30 matches have played or 29? I'm not sure. They've scored 34 goals and conceded 34 goals in the league. So they're not been incredibly prolific as goal scorers, but they've kept quite a number of goals out. They're only 34 against. So it's, in that respect, that's good.
I do have a stat that'll back that up though as well.
Go on. Yeah, I'd like to know.
In our games throughout the season, in 62% of our games we scored in the match for both teams has been 3 or more goals. For them, it's 25%. So, I mean, 75% chance to there only being a max of 2 goals. So yeah, I think they're tight. The thing is with us is we don't need a lot of chances to score a goal. They do.
We did it both.
I think that's the difference. No, but I mean, over the season, we tend to not need a lot of chances to score goals. They tend to have a lot of shots on target and not score that many. So I think that's the difference between the two sides.
Interesting. I wish you'd have saved that stat though for after John's predictions, because after Andy's gone 2-1 and he's gone for 3 goals
have
in
a
the game.
word.
No, 1-0 and 1-1's now, isn't it?
You've just changed my thinking. And
I'm not an happy clapper like Alan.
And speaking of predictions, Andy, what are you going for?
Oh, that's not fair, is it? 34 goals. A goal a game. They've conceded a goal a game. They've scored a goal a game over the season, but they've done a lot, like we said, done a lot better. They've got better and better, and they're pushing. 8 points behind us, so it could be 5 points behind us, although we have got a game in hand. So it could be, it's going to be important, not just about creating more difference between us or distance between us and Orient, but the other teams round us. Last night there were some good results for us. You know, Peterborough lost. That's the game I watched. Peterborough were winning and then blew it. And then obviously, of course, Stevenage, our friends from Stevenage lost at home, which were a bit of a surprise. So there's some good, some good results for us. So let's hope that continues this weekend. But it depends who turns up. If the team that played Bolton turns up, in the attitude for all the match, but both halves, then I think we'll do really well, and we ought to. There's no reason why we don't turn up like that. If the team that turned up against Exeter, and we remember Exeter were very quick, as they were against Peterborough last night, very quick, and it threw Peterborough. And again, like we said, they're left winger, left fullback on loan, caused all sorts of trouble for Peterborough. But fortunately, he's not playing us. So it all depends which one of us turns up. If we're quick enough to ball, like against, then we'll win. If we don't, we'll not win. And we could lose. It could be Exeter all over again, or it could be a draw. But I'm feeling all right about this. I think we're going to win 2-1.
Ooh, you've gone to
I know
break.
it's controversial. No, it's controversial.
Yeah, it's very, very out of character for you to pick a 2-1 win. Al, what are you thinking to it?
Well, if we can create the same chances we made last Saturday at Bolton, then it should be good. We've got to be more clinical what we should have been on Saturday. So I think there's going to be some goals. Excuse me, and I think we can do them 3-1.
Oh, I feel this was tears last time we predicted like this. So, Craig, I'm looking at you to bring us all back down to earth.
To be fair, I think that our back three is going to be a pretty good back three. I don't think we're going to see. I think we're going to be able to match them for a bit of pace. I don't think Port Vale really did well. Obviously we're seeing as new Josh Hill has got a bit of pace about him, So and I've seen all banners on Twitter about let's bring the noise back to Oakwell and stuff. And I think if we can get the stadium behind the players, I think we can really have a good showing. I'm gonna go an optimistic 2-0. I think we can keep them out.
You see, I like that as well because you've kept it to your same stats of under 3 goals in it as well. I like that. I'm gonna short and sweet. I think 1 apiece. I think just because of their current form, riding crest of the wave, seems like they don't fear sides in top 6 as well, and almost go to implement their style and their way. But as you've mentioned, we'll be better defensively. But I just feel like they're a bit cat's tails in the way. I feel like they'll just they'll have a chance. They'll score. We always get one away.
I'm just going to caveat my score with the fact is I think we're going to play having Jordan Williams back on that right, because I think the 3 centre backs are going to be Josh Earl in centre, McCart on left, and Dejivin out right. That's what I think we're going to start with Pines up bench. I think that's what he should do, and I think that's what Collins will do, is have Williams back on the right. Like I said, that Archibald is their top assister, and Mazzuni also plays on the left on midfield. That left-hand side, that right-hand side of our defence needs locking down. And I think having Dejivin and having Williams there is what...
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. And just on a sad note, with Mount Bennett, a lifelong season ticket holder from the East End, passed away recently, aged 76. His family will like a minute's applause on Saturday against Leyton Orient on the 76th minute, please.
Yeah,
God bless.
Yeah, so if you are going to the game on Saturday, make sure you get behind that in the 76th minute. Right, I think that just about wraps us up, lads, doesn't it? So we will be back with an instant reaction outside the club shop on Saturday after the game. If you want to come down to a fan cam, by all means, come down, come and find us. And yes, we'll be back with the interaction on Saturday. See you later, you Reds.